Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. This government, like its predecessor and its predecessor, is pursuing a policy that promotes an ever-widening gap between the haves and the have-nots. And the opening remarks of the Secretary of State suggest he is clueless about how hard this is hurting the hard-pressed households across the country. Most shameful of all is the government's disingenuous claim to level up our country and our society. And this is laid bare in its approach to local government finance, where it has brazenly encouraged this widening of wealth between our local authorities, between shire and city, and north and south. Instead, it has presided over an acceleration of inequality across this country, while families have to stump up more money for less locally. Fortunately, the public are starting to see this for the charade it is. After years of inflation-busting council tax increases, in effect forced upon authorities by this Conservative government, the public see next to nothing in return. Holes in the roads, holes in their arguments. Across England, we have seen the average Band D council tax increase dramatically, way ahead of inflation. In 2015-16, this was £1,500, and it's expected now to rise to almost £2,000 in this next financial year. Madam Deputy Speaker, this represents an eye-watering 29% increase in cash terms on its level in 2015-16. Now, residents in Warwick and Leamington are facing a further increase of £94 on average for this coming financial year, despite next to no increase in wages and inflation at just 0.5, 0.7%. Warwickshire County Council has lost £500 million in funding since 2013. Among all the services it has cut or closed, let me just mention the virtual closure of youth services, yet this has clearly contributed to knife crime rocketing. And now we have the prospect of yet another rise in the police and crime levy by the Police Crime Commissioner, another 6%, 12 times the inflation rate, on local taxes, while cutting 87 staff from its investigations and domestic abuse team. 87 dedicated and experienced police staff being made redundant. This is all against a backdrop of handing out cash to its mates, £21 billion for a failed test and trace scheme that sees call operators stay at home, making a couple of calls a day, starving money from local public health that would do it cheaper and better for less, or shoveling money to other mates, setting up middlemen businesses to import personal protective equipment that never arrives, merely hundreds of millions of pounds in their case. Let me, however, give the government one desperate plea from local government. Let them charge a fair fee for planning. It is quite ridiculous that a site employing 2,000 people here for the new mega lab in Leamington is in effect being subsidised by Warwick District Council. And also a plea to provide some long-term certainty. How many times have we heard the government say it will do whatever it takes, only to take whatever it likes from what it promised local government? On the 16th of March, Secretary of State told 300 council leaders it would do whatever necessary to support them. Madam Deputy Speaker, we are seeing an ever-widening gap in our society. But you know, another inflation-busting council tax is just one too many for them.